But when I read the proposed bill in terms of the Green New Deal, and I read that by 2030, they're suggesting that every building in America becomes clean energy, conforms to clean energy. Just to put that in perspective, because it's not realistic, that would mean that between 2,000 and 3,000 buildings a day would have to be reconstructed to conform to what they're saying.
All right, I don't want to attack one of the biggest podcasters and UFC color commentators, and a guy that's in movies, TV shows, Fear Factor, you name it, Joe Rogan. But when Joe decided to join Soros, he decided to join the globalists and then build these glass houses where I'm a bad guy, but he's a good guy. Well, I started doing homework and looking into Joe. So at the bottom of the hour, this has gotten no attention, but if you think wearing blackface is bad, if you think dressing up in a KKK outfit is bad, which I think it's the context it's in. I mean, I'm not defending it. I've never done that. If you think that, then what Joe did is like capital murder. So the video is coming up at the bottom of the hour just to show how if you're a leftist, you can do whatever you want and say whatever you want. But if you're not, you're held to another standard. So I'm not calling for Joe to lose his sponsors or be removed from the air. I'm simply showing Joe what it's like when somebody starts coming after you. Because, you know, if Joe wants to sit there while he thinks they're shoving me under the water, he's up there on the bank kind of peeing down on me, well, I'm going to reach up and drag him down with me. Because that's fair, right? Because if I said the stuff that we're going to play a Joe Rogan saying, I would be off the air. But see, he's this anointed person. He's friends with Jack Dorsey, so he's allowed to. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that coming up. And again, I don't do this to be mean. I just can't lay down. And, you know, I said that's the bottom of the hour. I have this tendency where I say I'm about to cover something, and then I go right into it immediately, and that's just shows how there's a lot of planning goes in the broadcast, and I always throw my own planning to the wayside as soon as I get on air. Let's drill down into the situation. And by the way, we're watching in there diligently, like laser beams. Is Trump going to approve what I think is a bad border deal overall? Yeah, it's a compromise. Pelosi said zero. He gets $1.3 billion. It's only a 7-month deal. It starts the wall, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but then it's got too much DACA in it. We're watching that because first they said Trump would approve it. Then he said they wouldn't. Then he said he might. We're watching that like laser beams. And we're going to let you know about that coming up in the next segment. But right now, let's go ahead and get to this news. Howard Schultz rips the Green New Deal. We have a video clip we're going to play in a moment. It's not realistic. So look at the demographics. Look at the numbers. Now, some say Ross Perot was working for Clinton. And then he got his first $6 billion from EDS and told folks what they wanted to hear, but it was all just fake populism. Trump's delivered on real populism so far, at least partially, so I don't think Trump's a shill. But he's starting to slide over with some of the things he's doing into a trajectory that's not good. Banning bump stocks when that's a bunch of hype. Saying, okay, we'll do DACA, things like that. But Howard Schultz is a big leftist, big liberal. Hell, Starbucks today is the one that when whites come to buy coffee, they go, let's talk about how you're evil because you're white. I mean, this is re-education camp stuff. And so Howard Schultz and the demographics knows that there is a really bad leftist vein that's the real goal of the Democrats. To live in luxury, but to say they're socialist and communist and promise free health care, free education, don't have to work. I mean, wow, that'd be a great civilization. Free health care, free education, don't have to work if you don't want to. Those are quotes. And by the way, we get rid of all the cows. And Cory Booker's joined that and said, meat eaters, your days are numbered. Oh, and cheese too. We're going to tell you what to eat. What a great group of people. It's all Bloomberg crap. The great technocrat. So Howard Schultz is doing all of this to have the Democrats attack him. And they're all playing along to siphon away nationalist and conservative and Reagan Democrat votes that are socially liberal but fiscally conservative. It's all meant to do that. It's all meant, Howard Schultz, 100%, is meant to siphon away votes in the Rust Belt and other areas from Reagan Democrats away from Trump. It's that simple. His whole modus operandi, having the Democrats attack him out of the gates, how they're so upset at him, how dare him. It's as phony as a $3 bill. And then he comes out to Cortez promising, you know, just everything's free, everything's wonderful, just play video games all day, don't worry. But if a producer doesn't pay their taxes, we'll SWAT team you. They know that that's where they're taking us. So the Republicans can run against that. So they bring in a Democrat in the middle to act like, oh, the Democrats are bad and so are the Republicans. I'm the guy. He gets the moderate vote that would go with Trump, the nationalist vote that would go with Trump, the Reagan Democrat vote that would go with Trump, and then they siphon away a few points. All it needs like 5 points probably. And Donald Trump loses 2020. So that's what old Howard Schultz is doing. He thinks he's smarter than everybody. He thinks we don't see through it. Now, I don't know if Ross Perot was doing that, but he had that net effect. But George Herbert Walker would have been bad anyway, so it didn't matter. It's a moot point. But this is a little different, isn't it? So here is Herr Schultz.
When I read the proposed bill in terms of the Green New Deal, and I read that by 2030, they're suggesting that every building in America becomes clean energy, conforms to clean energy. Just to put that in perspective, because it's not realistic, that would mean that between 2,000 and 3,000 buildings a day would have to be reconstructed to conform to what they're saying. So let's be sensible about what we're suggesting. Let's not just throw stuff against a wall because it's a good slogan or we get a press release. Let's be truthful. But when I see politicians start throwing things out that I know is not realistic, that is not being honest with the American people. But I think it's immoral to suggest that we can tally up 20, 30, 40, 50 trillion dollars of debt to solve a problem that could be solved in a different way. It's not that they're disingenuous. I think they're well-intentioned. This is not personal. I just don't agree this is the right way to approach things.
Okay. Meanwhile, Michael Bloomberg pledges $500 million to unseat Trump in 2020. And then this is where you really learn the scam. Nobody deserves to be this rich. Bill Gates, who's put over $100 billion of money into a tax-free foundation where he then gets the profits out. Just like Bezos and all these groups set it up where they pay basically no taxes. But then they lobby and say, I'm so rich, I don't pay taxes. We need higher taxes on the middle class, knowing that through government contracts gets funneled to him and vertically integrates the society. So that's how the scam works. Bill Gates claimed he had paid too little tax. It did not deserve to be so rich. The 63-year-old, worth 73 billion pounds, $96 billion, said he and other business barons should have to contribute more. That's why he puts his money in tax-free foundations. In an interview with the Mail, he said, I paid more than $10 billion in taxes, but I should pay more. Really? Well, then you should have just paid it instead of putting it in a tax-free foundation. I more than follow the law, but I think things should be more progressive on you, making $100,000 a year. The father of three made his fortune after founding Microsoft, and it goes on from there. I mean, what a load of garbage.
For those looking for the ultimate source of energy for their day, every day, The Brain Synergy Combo is here. Combining the powerful Turbo Force and Brain Force Plus nootropic formulas, this combo has what you need to hit your maximum potential every day. Take the tasty tropical berry-flavored Turbo Force instant drink hits with you on the go or at work to help provide you with focus, clarity, and energy. And to reach your full potential, hit the next generation of advanced neural activation with the Brain Force Plus nootropic, a fan-favorite formula fueled by powerful, time-tested ingredients for a true 360 win. With this combo, you can have energy wherever you need it, at home, on the go, in the car, and more. Get pure energy on tap and take advantage of old and new InfoWars powerhouse formulas with the Brain Synergy Combo. Head to InfoWarsStore.com today